Hope you enjoy this one as much as I do.
I'm not sure what genre you'd really call Killer Frequency, but it certainly feels like some sort of mixture of Night Trap and a 911 operator simulator. That said, it's certainly much better than Night Trap since there's actually gameplay. The game puts you in the shoes of a radio show host who has to take calls for the 911 dispatch in addition to running his show. Your goal is to keep the town of Gallows Creek safe from a serial killer who's causing mayhem in the streets. You gotta give advice to fleeing victims to help them get away from the masked maniac. This gives it almost a choose-your-own-adventure book type of vibe, since your decisions almost always change how the story unfolds. While this game being story-based does make it a bit more of a polished experience, it also does make the game a lot less replayable than it would be if there were some random 911 calls thrown in there as well. But hey, the story is still pretty good for an indie game.
I almost swore I heard something.
Oh, and here I was thinking you'd finally started to ease up. You probably just heard some cats outside.
Cats?
You know, 4 legs, whiskers, tails, not dogs.
I know what a cat is. But I mean, does Gallows Creek have a stray cat problem or something?
Not since the rats moved in.
My main gripes about this game aren't really that big, but they're still worth mentioning. My first tiny gripe is the controls for interacting with drawers and doors, and they're really clunky. You have to hold the button and move the stick in the direction that you want to move the object, instead of just pressing a button to open the door like most games would. My other gripe is the time period inconsistencies. It says it takes place in 1987, but almost all of the calls made to you are made on cell phones. But just because cell phones existed back then does not mean that they were affordable or that you could even get reception in a small town like Gallows Creek.
Anytime you want to come down to the jazz studio, you get in for free.
Other than that, there's not a lot to talk about since it's kind of hard to review this game without giving away any spoilers. It's worth your time, but I wouldn't really say it's worth the $40 MSRP. I give Killer Frequency a 7 out of 10. I say get the cheaper digital version or buy the physical copy when the price goes down a bit. The game only lasts about 6 hours, so it's purely your call if you think it's worth it or not.
We did it, Forrest!
We sure did!